For decades, the media has painted a picture of a rude, dangerous, and unstable America. But when the World Cup took place, millions of Europeans flocked here and realized they had been deceived their entire lives.
Let me tell you something Americans need to be grateful for. Fanta Orange, mate. Fucking hell. You don't know how good you have.
That hosts 70,000 people plus for a college football game on a random Thursday.
America, you deserve and are owed an apology. And I'm going to say sorry on behalf of all the countries outside America and their media and the narrative they paint about America.
Do you see? This contrast is really crazy. Why do Westerners have such deep-rooted prejudices about America? Has the virtual world on the internet completely distorted reality? Welcome back to my channel. Today, we will not only watch the humorous reactions, but also delve deeper from a socio-psychological perspective. This video will completely change your perspective on America and their hospitality. Don't take your eyes off it, because the biggest shocks that are shaking the internet will appear right after this.
We don't have this in Britain. We're at the petrol station right now, and they have a beer cave. Should I go in? Oh my god! We don't have this in Britain. This is fucking wild. Let's see what else they have. You're gonna break it, mate. No wonder Americans are so fat. There's so many drinks. No way. Are you taking the piss? Look at that.
Look at the expressions of these European guests, their eyes wide and mouths agape in true astonishment. They are standing in a place they call the best store they've ever stepped into, sprawling for miles. But surprise, surprise. This is not a mega supermarket at all. It's just a roadside gas station. They even sell clothes and household items here, have a whole universe of their own brand of beef jerky with various flavors, and a Texas BBQ grill stand with smoke billowing. Europeans, who are used to compact rest stops with just a few pumps and a lonely shelf of pastries, are understandably shocked by the scale of this gas station universe.
In the proud spirit of America, and in the proud spirit of our great country,
I just got three things to say. God bless our troops. God bless America. And gentlemen, start your engine!
That's not all. Check out this light lunch moment in Texas. This tourist ordered a premium beef rib and thought it would be just right like back home. Until the staff brought out a juicy steak weighing 18 to 20 ounces. That's more than half a kilogram of meat in one piece.
How big is that?
Hey, first bite.
First bite, man. That's your first ever bite of Texas barbecue. What do you think?
Amazing! Like not hard. The texture tender. Umami, delicious. Mwah!
And of course, the flavor of this Texas BBQ ribs dish also captivates many diners.
First time trying barbecue in Texas. I got this from Truth Barbecue in Houston, and look at the size of this dino rib. The seasoning on this rib is insane. Super tender, but we all know the flavor is in the bone.
Hi, how are you?
I have smokers out here.
Oh.
We're not gonna get
For a long time, the media and international forums have often used quite sarcastic terms, like Americans eat from barrels and drink from vats, or mocked their oversized portions. But when experiencing it firsthand, one can truly understand how this gigantic portion brings an unparalleled sense of satisfaction and generosity. Holding a juicy piece of beef brisket drenched in sauce and dropping it straight into your mouth, it's so delicious that any prejudices at this point are irrelevant, right guys? But from an economic and geographical perspective, why does America have a culture of go big or go home? Is it simply because they like to show off? Absolutely not. The answer lies in the optimization of operating costs in the microeconomics of the United States. And when reading the comments of thousands of Americans, the answer seems clearer than ever. The nearest Costco store is 78 miles from my house, and I only drive there once a month. Fortunately, there are large packages in freezers. She thinks they go to the market every day. Beside, in this rural part of America, we are lucky if we can go to the market once a month.
Because we have to drive to the market, and we only do it once a week. We drive to the market because it might be 30, 40 minutes away from our house. So we have to stock up. And with the price of gas, you don't want to go to the market more than once a week. And you stock up, and you don't drink that whole gallon of milk in one day. It's usually for a big family, or a gallon of milk can last a person 2-3 weeks if they have a good, strong refrigerator. So that's why all the portions are big.
The United States, especially the southern states like Texas, possesses an absolute geographical advantage that most European countries do not have: vast land area and low population density. In Europe, with limited land and a dense population, the high rental costs force businesses to shrink and save every square meter. In contrast, in the US, space is limitless. When land is abundant, American architects and economists realized that instead of building 10 small gas stations scattered around, constructing a single massive service complex would help them optimize logistics costs per footstep. And then they can import goods in extremely large quantities, store them on site, and minimize management costs. Wide roads also allow American consumers to comfortably drive large vehicles for shopping. Therefore, the so-called American scale is essentially a perfect product of pragmatic economic thinking. Large spaces yield high efficiency. If you find these microeconomic analyses through the lens of life interesting, don't hesitate to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel right away. Your support is the biggest motivation for me to continue creating in-depth and high-quality analysis videos like this. Now, let's move on to another wow data point about infrastructure that is sure to completely change many people's perspectives.
The thing that's making me laugh about the World Cup is how many Europeans were genuinely worried about the stadiums. As if the US was going to be scrambling around trying to find venues for us. It's like, folks,
before the World Cup took place, there was a wave of concern on European social media, with people saying, "The United States is not passionate about soccer. Will they be able to prepare enough quality stadiums?" But reality has proven the opposite. The United States has completely crushed all doubts.
Oh my goodness. These are my seats for the World Cup. What? God is so good. God is so good. You guys post the cringy content. Do it. You never know where it might lead you. I'm from Porterville, California. I'm not supposed to be here. What? God is so great. Shout out Discover LA for the seats. This is absolutely incredible. Wow. I'm at a loss for words. USA.
Welcome to Dallas Stadium. Oh my days! Oh my days! Yo, America is different. It's crazy.
Many tourists who have come here have had to admit that it surpasses any stadium in Europe. From the shaded dome, the giant screen, the cool air conditioning, to the fact that spectators can look directly down at the field from the surrounding corridors. Let's recall the previous World Cups, where Qatar and Russia had to spend tens of billions of dollars to build new stadiums from scratch, and after the tournament, many of these structures fell into disrepair. And what about the United States? They don't need to build any new ones. They just need to look around and choose from their available billion-dollar temples.
Qatar had to build stadiums, Russia had to build stadiums, but the US just looked around and went, will any of our current billion-dollar cathedrals do?
Did you know that even a random college football game on a regular Thursday in the US can easily fill from 70,000 to over 100,000 spectators? The American mass sports economy is so strong that their infrastructure is always ready to activate for world-class events without the burden of a new construction budget. Europeans suddenly realized that the criticisms before the tournament were just a major misunderstanding. However, the shock of the material scale and infrastructure was just the beginning of a series of jaw-dropping days for international tourists. Because right after stepping out of those gigantic structures, they encounter something else, which cannot be measured by area, but has a psychological impact that is much stronger. That is the system of iconic vehicles and the frighteningly friendly nature of the people here. Let's move on to the next part to see what made Europeans exclaim, America is just like a real-life movie. Okay, now let's move on to the extremely entertaining part. After scouring all the reaction videos of Europeans setting foot in America, I had to create a society of those who go crazy for Hollywood's golden color. Look at this.
Oh my god, can you make a picture of me?
Why? Wait.
Because of
What?
it's a yellow school bus, like from the American movies.
Okay.
You know who's taken it? Miley Cyrus and Hannah Montana.
Oh.
All people from High School Musical, I'm sure. And all Americans.
Yeah.
You will never believe what I saw. Yes. Like yellow. Yes, High School Musical, right? That's the happiest day of my life. Let's go.
Really, just to see this yellow bus in real life and not in the movies.
What's up, you guys? So I always see these yellow buses in the movies, and we're gonna try and sit inside for a little bit. Technically not allowed to, but I'm gonna ask.
Many tourists even had to admit that they used to think this car was just a special effect or a prop that only existed in the Simpsons cartoon or Hollywood high school movies, until they saw them with their own eyes on the streets of America.
I didn't realise how bent out of shape some Americans get about how much us Brits like your yellow buses, your school yellow buses. I'm really sorry that we enjoy seeing them. As a Brit now living in America and have been here for nearly 3 years, I've lived in Dubai. They had yellow buses there. Nah.
All the Brits, UK, England, everybody coming over here for the World Cup. First off, you guys are awesome. I have seen so many videos talking about how you guys have had a great experience in America. I love it. I love it. But I have a question. Why are you guys so baffled about these yellow school buses? And why did you guys think they were
Not stopping there, they loaded the car with 6,000 worth of beer, turning the minimalist leather seats, originally meant for transporting elementary school students, into a dance floor, a lively mobile party traveling across the states. A cultural crossover experience that is both mindless and incredibly cool, one that even Native Americans would tip their hats to in admiration. But there is one thing I find extremely puzzling. Why do Europeans have a nostalgic mindset and their brains default to thinking these buses are fake? The answer lies in the soft power and cultural export strength of Hollywood over the past century. For a child growing up in England, France, or Germany, the image of the yellow school bus or the bright red fire truck from America has appeared repeatedly in thousands of blockbuster movies, TV shows, and cartoons. It is tied to childhood memories, to distant science fiction stories.
When I was a kid, before I ever went to London, and I saw a movie that took place in London, and they had those distinctive they're black cabs. The black cabs in London, and they're kind of like roundish, you know what I mean? They're like kind of wide. I was like, oh, that's what a cab looks like in London. And then they have these like red double-decker buses, and I'm like, oh, that's what a bus probably looks like in London. And then I became an adult, and I went to London. And yep, that's what the cabs look like in London, and that's what the buses look like in London. And I never assumed otherwise, because why would they make up a fake type of cab and bus for the movies? Obviously, the movie is showing us the setting, and the things that exist in the setting are in the movie.
The media power of Hollywood is so great that it transforms a very ordinary public transport, somewhat boring in the eyes of Native Americans, into a cultural wonder for the rest of the world. When a European tourist sees it in real life, their brain immediately triggers a nostalgia effect. That feeling is no different from suddenly seeing Mickey Mouse step out into the real world, flesh and blood, both astonished and excited to realize that the world on screen is actually real.
I keep seeing all these Europeans and people from around the world being like, oh my god, the yellow school buses are real. Yeah, they're real. They even have their own like little depot here in Indianapolis. I drive past this every day on my way to work, where all the little school buses just kind of hang out and chill during the day and at night and during the—
If you have ever felt amazed when seeing these cinematic icons in real life, or simply enjoy this analysis of popular culture, please leave a like and hit subscribe. Your small actions will help the algorithm bring this video to more like-minded friends. To understand this shock more deeply, let's do a small comparison of the social welfare system and public services between different regions. In the next clip, a British tourist shares that in their home country, students go to school entirely by regular double-decker public buses. Their favorite part is competing to sit on the second floor with friends, and the most memorable moments sometimes come from the bus accidentally hitting a pigeon on the road. Meanwhile, in Asian countries like Japan or some European countries like Spain, the student transportation system is extremely luxurious, using high-end tour buses equipped with Wi-Fi because many students have to travel long distances from 1.5 to 2 hours from early morning. Looking at that contrast, the American yellow school bus appears minimalist, lacking in technological amenities, and with a somewhat crude mechanical design. However, behind that minimalism lies a high level of practicality in the American welfare system. They do not focus on luxury or entertainment. They focus 100% on absolute safety. American school buses are designed with ultra-strong steel frames, strict warning systems, and are protected by the most stringent traffic laws on the planet, where any vehicle, including those of heads of state, is required to stop when a school bus extends its stop sign to pick up children. That is a very American public service philosophy: practical, efficient, and safety as the core foundation. The shock of seeing cinematic icons come to life has flung open the doors of exploration for Westerners. However, while inanimate objects like gas stations or buses only astonish them visually, it is when they directly interact with the local people that they truly experience psychological shock. What is the nature of what is called the frighteningly friendly nature of Americans? Does it resemble the rumors of an unstable society in the daily news? Let's move on to the next part to decode this third major shock. Now, we will move on to a segment that touches the core spirit of this trip, what I jokingly call the almost frightening friendliness of Americans.
Oh, okay.
They've just brought an extra table and put it onto our table.
Yes.
Surely that is not the normal occurrence in an American restaurant. How much did I order?
So this is our cheese pepperoni.
Oh,
so all of the ingredients are hiding.
Yes.
This is what we would say in the UK. It's not
a cheeky
naughty.
pizza.
It's not rude. It's cheeky. It's the kind of naughtiness that's endearing.
Wow, that's your third giant cup of soda.
Frickin' love this place.
YouTube video.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. People are so friendly here.
Yeah.
The American people are probably the most genuine, welcoming, humble people that I've ever met in my life.
And they were drinking heavily, getting ready to go, and coming to the game. So that's the thing. They're having a great time here following their soccer team. Pardon me.
You know, Europeans have very strict personal space boundaries. They rarely interact with strangers on the street unless necessary. So this proactive openness makes them feel both unfamiliar and somewhat suspicious.
Europeans have been told that Americans are rude. Americans are unfriendly, and that America is a scary place. And now I cannot stop seeing videos of people talking about how friendly Americans are. The fact that you guys are constantly up for an amazing heart-to-heart conversation. The amount of energy and support that you bring is off.
But the next story is truly a turnaround against prejudice. Two siblings of Portuguese and Canadian descent were caught in a torrential downpour in Houston because they neglected to check the weather forecast. While they were struggling and stuck, a complete stranger, an American, voluntarily pulled over, told them to get in, and drove them for free all the way back to their hotel where they were staying. They exclaimed that they had never experienced anything like it before, and the hospitality of the people of Houston had elevated the definition of kindness to a completely different level. These real-life experiences have directly shattered their vague fears of a cold or dangerous society, as they often hear in the media. So, from a sociological perspective, why is there such a significant contradiction? On international media and sensational daily news, America always appears as an unstable place, rife with gun violence and social conflict. However, why is it that when millions of World Cup tourists make the journey here, They only find safety, warmth, and hospitality. To decode this, we must turn back the wheel of history to the roots of Southern culture in the United States, also known as Southern hospitality. Especially in states with vast areas like Texas, the people here deeply inherit the frontier spirit. During the pioneer era, families lived miles apart in the harsh wilderness. To survive, they could not be alone but had to rely on the help and support of those around them, regardless of who they were. Opening doors to welcome, offering shelter to a stranded traveler, or helping a car stuck in the sand has become a code of conduct, a survival instinct passed down through many generations. Therefore, the smile, or the y'all greeting from Americans today is not a superficial formality, but a cultural habit deeply ingrained in their subconscious. They see strangers as friends they haven't met yet. If you feel that these analyses of social psychology help you understand many new and interesting things about people, then remember to hit like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next episodes. A crowd connected by understanding is always the greatest community. That Southern openness and hospitality have inadvertently created a perfect playground for the sweetest cultural clashes in World Cup history. Look at these documentary footage. We have enthusiastic Japanese fans partying, arm in arm with Mexican supporters on street corners. We have Scottish bagpipe bands descending and emptying the bars in Boston in an incredibly friendly and joyful atmosphere. Many social analysts used to refer to America as a melting pot, a place where all ethnicities pour in and are melted down to blend into a common mass. But looking at the World Cup picture this time, America actually resembles a giant salad bowl more. Here, the Japanese maintain their disciplined identity by proactively distributing plastic bags to collect trash after the match. The Scots preserve their carefree and oblivious culture by placing traffic cones on the heads of statues. The Mexicans remain full of fiery party energy. No one has to lose their national identity, but they still harmonize, respect, and shine brightly together on the foundation of the warm welcome from the host country. It is this genuine connection between people that has made the tourists realize how surrounded they were by the terrible virtual prejudices from the internet. However, the story doesn't stop there. The shock about people was significant, but when faced with systematic analyses of information, they truly realized a more bitter truth. How have international media and social media algorithms manipulated and fabricated misunderstandings about America for many years? Now, let's go find the answer. Look up at the screen. This is a headline from The Atlantic, a highly reputable magazine in the US, stating, "The positive emotional story of the World Cup is too good to be true." Do you find it funny? Even when millions of international tourists are having wonderful experiences, a segment of the mainstream media in the US seems uncomfortable, even trying to find ways to criticize the fact that foreigners are loving America. From a media perspective, this is perhaps a clear example of what is called the outrage economy. News agencies and social media algorithms have long discovered a psychological secret. Human negativity bias is very strong. A news story about a breakdown, rudeness, or instability always has a click-through and interaction rate 10 times higher than a typical kind story. To maintain their advertising revenue, they accept creating echo chambers, continuously pumping into the minds of the global public a distorted picture that America is an extremely terrible place. They shape our perceptions with artificial fears in exchange for views on digital screens. Therefore, this World Cup is not merely a sports entertainment festival, it is essentially a global media detox. When European fans decide to step away from their computer screens, bravely crossing half the globe to experience it for themselves, all layers of prejudiced fog are dispelled. How can you continue to believe in negative fabrications when you see with your own eyes the warm welcome of the people, directly savor a juicy Texas brisket, or experience the safe and crazy self-driving taxi on the streets with your international friends? The reality of life has completely defeated the virtual world. The real world out there is beautiful, warm, and much more connected than what divisive algorithms want us to believe. This tournament has reached its final chapters, bringing with it both radiant smiles and tearful farewells from fans around the world. So after all the explosive moments, the mindless culture shocks, and the profound lessons, what will truly remain in each of our hearts when the stadium lights go out? After all, as the lights on the gigantic stadiums of America gradually dim and the medals have been awarded, there is one truth that everyone must acknowledge. Whether winning or losing on the field, millions of international fans this year have each brought home their own ultimate championship trophy. It is not a block of gold-plated metal, but a priceless living experience, a tangible and realistic view to realize that the real world out there is much more beautiful and warm than what we see through computer screens. The 2026 World Cup has achieved a miracle beyond football, bringing people closer together and shattering the deeply entrenched walls of prejudice built up by the media over decades. At this point, I'm very curious to know your thoughts. If you are a Vietnamese person living, studying in the US, or have ever had the opportunity to set foot in this country, what is the biggest culture shock or real-life experience you have had? Is it similar to the hilarious, clueless moments of the European friends we just watched? Leave a long comment below so we can discuss and share perspectives together. If you find that this video analysis through a social and economic lens provides you with useful knowledge and quality entertainment moments, don't forget to support me by hitting the like button, sharing this video with your friends, and subscribing to the channel, turning on the notification bell so you don't miss any of my future broadcasts. Your support is the greatest motivation for me to continue creating even more polished products. Thank you all so much for following along until these very moments. Bye y'all. This video is based on the compilation of materials, natural reactions, and personal experiences of international fans at the 2026 World Cup, widely shared on social media platforms. The analyses and perspectives on economics, geography, and sociology in the video are for reference, sharing an objective viewpoint and popular entertainment, and do not represent the political views or policies of any organization or country. The channel always respects cultural diversity and objective truth. Thank you for watching until the end. See you in the next videos.